Guillaume, welcome to our podcast.
Welcome to Unstructured.
Yeah, we're very, very thrilled to have you here today. Thanks for coming and talking about AI strategy. So Guillaume, you're an AI strategist, right? How do you define your job, actually? What is an AI strategist?
Hello, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. So yes, indeed, I have worked for a few years as an AI strategist. So an AI strategist is like a strategic consultant for AI topics in companies and organizations. So I have worked helping companies to understand what is AI, because it's not an easy topic, to understand how AI can be implemented in their daily processes, workflow, ways of working, revenues lines, and eventually to create new services line, and to understand in a very broad sense what is AI and how it can be used for them. So this has been my job for like 5 years.
Oh, very exciting. So you're like at the heart of the current transformation. How do you see it? How are you like expecting things to change in a few months, years, AI transformation?
Indeed, we have had before and after ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been a game changer in the AI transformation industry. Before ChatGPT, some companies have invested and were convinced about AI, but it was not the vast majority of the market. And since ChatGPT, so in November 2022, basically everybody knows that something is happening with AI. So many companies have started to invest, to interest themselves in AI, and they have worked with many companies like consulting firms, startups and other companies to see what they can do with AI, to be more efficient at doing their job, to do their job with new capabilities, with AI-enhanced products, for instance, and eventually to develop new AI services line or services line enhanced with AI. So this has been a key topic of discussion for many companies with many interlocutors for a few years now, but ChatGPT has been a real game changer in this industry.
Okay, yeah, I see. But so AI transformation is maybe a little broad term. Can you describe maybe a little bit in details how does it happen inside a company? And also, I don't know if you can mention maybe not the companies, of course, but like industries you have operated in.
Sure. I have operated in a few industries like financial services, consumer goods, and luxury.
Okay.
So this has been my playground for the past years now. The transformation of a company in the AI topics is very broad. We basically start from what we call the AI master plan, schéma directeur data AI in French, in order to identify where are the key value levers for companies. Like you are companies with a business model, ways of working, processes, etc. What can you do using AI to work better? And the idea is not to use AI because we want to use AI, it's because AI is a key performance lever, so you can have new performance lever using these technologies that you can't do without these technologies.
So as part of your job, are you also responsible of defining KPIs and also following them, maybe showing the return on investment in companies using AI?
Sure, for strategic consulting in AI, we are typically working with the idea of having a roadmap on the upcoming years in order to say, okay, now we are working in this way with these ways of working and these business lines. What can we do in the 2 or 3 upcoming years in order to be better at what we are doing, relying on AI and other things? So we are working on identifying the use cases and putting them in roadmap in order to see what are the key next steps for these companies on AI and outside of AI, and at the end the idea is to convert these use cases into products, so AI product, in order to have something that is usable by final users. So the idea is to start finding where are the key levers of performances in AI sense, so relying on use cases and plugging all these use cases in different products, so a few products, in order to have something that is tangible and usable by final users.
This is very challenging job, I can see from a lot of angles, but one of them for me is data.
Yes.
How do you manage data actually? Do all the companies, I imagine like all the companies not having the same maturity with data management. I worked a lot with this kind of on this kind of subjects. How does that relate to your job as an AI strategist?
That's a good topic, and this is a big topic of data management and data governance. So this is not a whole topic, but it's a topic that is a bit older than AI in companies. So many companies have started to understand like 10 to 15 years ago that data is going to be a key topic for the upcoming years and decades. So they have started to invest into data management and data governance solutions and practices. So the idea is that you can do AI at scale if you are bad in data management and data governance, for obvious reason, because your AI algorithm are going to need data to be trained, to be deployed, and to have relevant information. There is a key topic which is called the GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So if you are feeding your algorithm with not so good data, you are going to have not so good result. So the idea is that if you want to do AI seriously, you need to be good at data management, data governance, but also to the linked topic like data quality, data accessibility, etc. This is a very big topic that we can name data governance, but it's much more than only governance. It's also management, quality, accessibility, and many other topics.
Yeah, actually it's very interesting. We started talking about data, and for me this subject is very important because I did my PhD in ethical AI, and I take AI ethics and data ethics very seriously. So do you think companies are taking data and AI ethics seriously, or is it still more check-the-box thing?
No, I think many companies, and basically all companies, are taking all these compliance topics very seriously. We have two main topics on this one, plus the CNIL one. You have the CNIL regulation, you have the GDPR and the AI Act. Many companies take either their legal department on these topics, some of them hire specialized consulting firms, and some other companies do a mix of both. So there is no one way of doing that, but of course you have to take this legal text very seriously.
Okay, I mean these are privacy concerns, but there are also other ethical concerns such as bias, cybersecurity, fairness, etc. What are the top ethical concerns for companies?
All these concerns are very important for companies. Of course, you have the topic of bias within the models. You have all the topics about equity and this kind of things. These are tech topics at the beginning because all these technologies like machine learning or LLM are biased by definition. So you have to take them very seriously, both on the technical side in order to know this bias exists, and you have to handle them, and on the business side because you have to understand that this is a key issues linked to the use of AI. So this is a double concern, both on the tech side and on the business side, with on top the regulatory part.
Okay, if we switch to lighter subjects, basically you worked as AI strategist on international level. Is there a difference between working in France or internationally? What are the main differences?
There are many differences on the intercultural part. Most of them are not linked to AI because in any international companies, when you work with people from other countries, of course there are differences in ways of working, ways of interact. So this is a topic that is very broad and of course not linked to AI. What is interesting is that in AI, the use cases identified may vary across countries because we have not the same relationship to AI in different countries. So I have worked with many countries, especially in Asia, and the relationship to AI and what AI can do and what AI should do may vary a bit. Of course, main use cases like a chatbot are the same across these countries. It's much more about specific uses of AI that may vary across the countries.
Yeah, but we are talking about AI uses here, but what about trends? Are we different in different countries?
There are two main trends in AI today. Of course, there are some other trends, but the two big things today are generative AI. Of course, this is the main topic and the hot topics we have today, with like the LLM, large language models, and all the development across the LLMs, like SLMs, RAG, and all these kind of things. We can also think about MCP, from Anthropic AI, for instance. This is a big topic today, all these topics linked to generative AI. And we have also another trend, which is an emerging trend, which is the topic of agentic AI. So this is, I think, the next big thing in AI, with all development across autonomous agents and other agents, which are going to be, I think, the next big wave in AI for like the coming months and years.
Yeah, I love like agentic AIs because of the possibilities it can make you do with them. I'm trying myself, I'm currently like doing it, and it's quite tricky actually to make sure that your agent is doing the right thing, that you spot the issues before they happen. The testing part, I found it quite hard. I don't know if you have like some experience on this. to share with us?
The interesting part about agentic AI is that it's a new paradigm. It's a new way of thinking about AI. You have the machine learning part with the typical algorithm used in machine learning. You have the generative AI part with the transformer and this kind of technological underlayer. And you have the agentic AI, which is for me a new way of thinking and working with AI. So this is still a new topic. Agents in themselves are not very new. This is a quite old technology indeed. But the agentic AI at scale is something new, and I think it's something which is going to be the next big thing in AI. So this is very new today, and there are a lot to discover and to learn about that. But I think this is going to be the next big thing. It's like not in 10 years, but in the upcoming months and years.
Yeah. So for me, when you talk about agents, and you mentioned it will imply inevitably like transformations, but I know, yes, transformations in terms of usage of technology, but also in terms of human resources.
Sure.
What is currently happening like inside companies? Do you need to train teams to use AI agents? How does it work?
Yes, there is a big topic about change management because you can't deploy an AI product, give it to the users and leave the company. You have to train the users, you have to explain them why we are doing this kind of initiatives and how they can use the product to be better at doing their job or to have an enhanced employee in order to be better at understanding what is expected and doing the job. So this is a big topic about change management, and these topics which are still upcoming about agentic AI are going to be a very challenging topic for change management. But this is still interesting because today generative AI is understood by many because we have ChatGPT at home and basically everybody is using chatbot. Not only ChatGPT, we have also competitors, but the idea of using ChatGPT or another chatbot is quite obvious. With agentic AI, things are a bit different because it's not that obvious to understand what is a multi-agent system. So this is going to be a hot topic to explain to final users what are the technical underlayer behind the product they are currently using or they are going to use in the next months and years.
But as we have these safety concerns for AI agents, do you think it will take a long time for companies to use that internally and to provide this for users? So it's just like will happen and then users will adapt and regulations will adapt?
No, it will happen. Today, agentic is still a very new topic for many companies because here in startups we move very fast and we discover new things very, very fast. In big companies, things are not as fast as we expect. So it takes a bit of time. Companies are moving very fast on AI actually. So generative AI was something very experimental like 3 years ago, and it's something that many companies understand very well today. With agentic, things are going to be fast, but we are at the very beginning of agentic at scale for company, so it's going to take time to understand and discover these technologies.
It was a very interesting discussion on privacy, ethics, sovereignty, and you seem to cover a lot of topics. Maybe we come closer to a conclusion, so maybe you want to ask.
Yeah. Your like worst buzzword in AI right now.
In AI, there are lots of bad buzzwords, but I think the worst of all is AGI, so artificial general intelligence. The concept in itself is quite interesting, so it's not the concept that is an issue, is that it's something that is being used as a marketing gimmick in order to sell products or services that may not be that relevant. So I would say AGI, not because of the concept in itself, but because it has been used in a not relevant way. I would say so.
And what's your best word?
I would say agentic. It's a bit of a paradox, but I think agentic is going to be something incredible in the upcoming months and years. So I would say agentic. Because also the concept is interesting, but it's something that is truly a game changer when you understand it. It's something that can be a game changer in many phases in the companies. So it should be interesting to see the development in agentic in the upcoming months and years.
Yeah, I mean, you seem to like AI agents a lot, and last time we met at Agentic AI Meetup.
Yes.
Today you're here with us at Station F. We're happy to host you. Where can people meet you and discuss with you?
That's a good one. So I'm not going to give my address, but they can still contact me on LinkedIn. I am quite active on LinkedIn, so they can still send me a message, and I would be happy to answer.
Cool. You'll have LinkedIn in the comments to this YouTube video. Thank you for the interview. It was a pleasure to host you.
We learned a lot, and hopefully we will have you again on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for your insights.
Thanks.